Hello and good morning, everybody, and welcome back for the first time this year to Tropics Talk. I'm meteorologist Jim Dickey. If this is your first time joining us, for all of you, it's the first time joining us here this year in 2022. But with Tropics Talk, I go a little more in-depth across the tropics, the forecast that I'm able to do on air here at ABC 7. As far as schedule-wise, early in the season, especially if things are quiet, one update a week, maybe two a week. As things get going, definitely two, if not three updates here in Tropics Talk a week. And when a storm is threatening the United States, updates could be as often as daily. So be sure you're checking back on abc-7.com as I'll have these updates for you, again, pretty frequently throughout the hurricane season. We begin our inaugural Tropics Talk looking at a quiet Atlantic. Nothing going out there right now. So we have quite a streak going in the Atlantic. All the way back to 2015, we've had at least one named storm form before June 1st. As I'm recording this on May 30th, unlikely that we're going to get a named storm in the Atlantic before we get to that official start of hurricane season. So I do think, in all likelihood, we're going to break that streak. But that doesn't mean there's nothing out there right now. It's just not in the Atlantic basin. You have to switch over to the Eastern Pacific, which has a whole separate hurricane season, a whole separate list of names. Tends to go in a little bit earlier. The official start of the Eastern Pacific hurricane season is actually May 15th. And here we go. We have Hurricane Agatha, a strong Category 2 hurricane just about to make landfall in southern Mexico. Now, it is sort of paralleling the coast. You can see the center there on the satellite presentation. A formidable-looking hurricane for this early in the year, 110 miles per hour. That is just below Category 3 strength. It is going to move onshore, well east of Acapulco, head to the north from there. Oftentimes, though, when storms make landfall in Mexico, they look very formidable, like Agatha looks right now, but as soon as they move onshore, they weaken and weaken quickly. No surprise, it's very dry in these areas, and there's some rugged terrain, in particular where Agatha is headed, a band of mountain peaks, 12,000 feet plus. In fact, as you go further northward, there's even higher mountain peaks than that, 1,500 plus, 15,000 plus that is. So again, Agatha is likely going to struggle as it moves its way onshore. You look at the cone of concern from the Hurricane Center showing that Category 2 hurricane quickly becoming a tropical storm, and the NHC actually cuts off the cone Tuesday afternoon, as that's when the storm is expected to completely fall apart over the mountains of southern Mexico. But we're not going to be done with tracking Agatha, or at least what's left of Agatha, just yet at that point in time. I want to show you the American or GFS forecast model. So it shows the center of low pressure from Agatha as we see it now, sitting to the south of the Mexican coast, moves the center onshore and quickly weakens it. Really, by the time we get to tomorrow morning, the GFS no longer has even a closed low with Agatha. Completely busts that low pressure apart. But sort of the reflection of that system, the broad low pressure, is going to move its way northward, eventually settling in over either the Bay of Campeche or the Western Caribbean Sea. Now, the GFS, by the time we get to Thursday afternoon, note that broad circulation in the winds setting up in the Western Caribbean Sea. Broad low pressure there that would slowly, in all likelihood, organize. And by the time we get to Friday morning, now we have, again, that closed low pressure area setting up over the Western Caribbean, working its way northward, likely to head further north from there. So with that in mind, the National Hurricane Center is saying there's a medium chance that something is able to come together from what's left of Agatha. Now, the rules are, if Agatha is declared to have fallen apart, if that low-level center is declared to have completely busted apart, if this is to reform, it would take a new name in the Atlantic. That new name would be Alex. There's a medium chance of development, per the National Hurricane Center, in either the southern Gulf of Mexico or the Western Caribbean Sea. Any development would be slow. As I just showed you with the GFS forecast model, we're talking all the way through Friday. This would still be a broad and disorganized system. But the chance for development, all the same, certainly the threat for heavy rainfall, the Yucatan Peninsula, parts of the Caribbean, parts of Central and South America, and perhaps as we go into the weekend early next week, for us here in Florida. It really depends on the track this takes. I want to show you two separate models here. This is by Sunday morning, Sunday at 8 a.m. I have the isobars, or lines of equal pressure, on here. In white, the European forecast model. In green, the American or GFS forecast model. You see those circles there? One that would be right over Florida, that's the European. It shows the center of low pressure from that slowly organizing system moving its way across Florida. Would this mean a named storm? I don't think so. Not on this model. It would be a broad, disorganized low, but some heavy rains. I'll show you in just a second. The GFS has something a little more organized, but it has it well off to the east of Florida, cutting across the Bahamas and into the southwest Atlantic. We dive into these models here, and we look at the ensembles, which again, an ensemble, basically you're taking that model I just showed you, you're going to tweak the conditions in which it uses to make its forecast a number of different ways and then run it out all those different ways. You get all these different solutions. When they sort of come together, you have more confidence in the solution. And for the European, its ensemble shows a number of those lines marking the track of that weak low pressure moving over the Florida Peninsula. Note, most of them marked in blue, meaning this would be a weak system, perhaps a depression, but in more likelihood just a broad, disorganized tropical low, but it moves it right across southwest Florida and then in the southwest Atlantic, where it would have the chance to organize into a proper tropical depression or tropical storm. And I'm going to show you this. Now, don't get too bogged down on the numbers. Don't get too caught up. This is a long-range forecast. This is far from locked in anything that you should have to necessarily worry about right now, but it's in the realm of possibility. If a low were to take that track, this is what you could expect rainfall-wise. 5 to 10 inches of rain in the European forecast model right now through next Monday, with the worst of the rain likely on Sunday here in that solution. Again, still a long way out, and this is only one run of one model, because take a look at this. Again, the GFS, I showed you earlier, it shows the low off to the east of Florida. All of its members show that more southerly track across western Cuba and then into the Florida Straits and out into the southwest Atlantic. That would actually wrap drier air in on the backside of that to Florida, which would bring a very, very different solution. It's showing 1 to 2 inches of rain. Actually, most of that falling on today, on this Monday, with storms that get going this afternoon. So still a lot of uncertainty with this. We'll be tracking Agatha as it moves its way on shore here today and tonight into Mexico, and then watching whatever organizes here slowly in the coming days. So, bottom line, this is a reminder, hurricane season is upon us. Be sure you're keeping tabs in the forecast here. We'll, of course, have frequent updates on what's organizing out there, where it's headed, what it means for Southwest Florida here at ABC7 throughout the week. Until next time, I'm meteorologist Jim Dickey. I hope you have a wonderful and safe Memorial Day.